What's up, everybody? This is Sut with PriceIsKing.com. Let's take a look at one of the strategies that I deploy and employ actually when I'm trading the NQ. All right, right now I'm in the playback. I'm playing back this particular strategy, and I want to kind of show you my screen setup. I got my waves over here. You know how if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll make another video on. What this is basically just a multi-monitor setup that I have. And what I like to do is I like to take a look at the long range, the mid range, and then the fast range, right? And I talk about that in my course, which is free now, available on YouTube. So just make sure you check out the playlist with all the various different courses. But this particular strategy, I employ this on specifically on NQ. I may make it available, auto strategy algos. I'll possibly make it available for everybody for purchase once I fully test it out and make sure. And one of those things that I do is I test it out like this on playback. You know, after I do my back testing and forward-looking regression testing and whatnot. And so I'm going to go ahead and play it. And just to kind of, I'm put this on 10x so you guys can see what exactly I'm doing, right? I look at multiple different screenshots, right? I do have various different things. I don't just go ahead and blindly go and execute a trade. I do look at all areas and to kind of make a judgment call, right, based on certain conditions, right? And so right now, one of those things is I look at this particular entry, and I talk about this when I'll sell this particular strategy, but I wanted to kind of just go over real quick what I'm doing, right? And so how it works. I do have this on the Renko bars, and I do have some multiple EMAs here. As you can see, I have the 250-day EMAs, and I'd like to kind of gauge where things are based on those two indicators. And at the same time, I'd like to kind of look at where other things are, right, in perspective. I do see I have the 50 over 200, so a lot of bull case over here. Also, you'll see that this is also trying to make it above, and then this is very tight. These bands are very tight. So it could go either way, right? And so right now, one of the main indicators I like to look at is this, and I go ahead and what I do is I do have a ATM strategy in place. Based on certain conditions, I'll go ahead and put my stop order, and I'll watch it, right? I'll watch it play out and see how things progressed based on the indication over here. Obviously, this may be a wrong call just because I'm talking to you guys and what I'm looking at over here. But things could change, right? With NQ, it's very volatile. It moves a lot. And, as you can see, short term, I even have the 1 minute chart right over here that I like to look at. Because I used to trade on the 1 minute chart before I got myself involved in the Renko bars. I do really enjoy the Renko bars, and I now make it just so much easier for me looking at the Renko bars versus the nuances of minute bars. So just watch. I kind of talk about things as it plays along. Sometimes things don't go the way you want it, even though everything falls into place, and that's just the nature of the beast, right? Just the nature of NQ. Even if you don't pay attention to market conditions, like if you are trading during FOMC days, when they're talking about rate cuts and whatnot, if you have days where key stocks are putting out their earnings report, right? You want to be careful, and it could swing really fast in either direction, right? So even with all the conditions being met, it could go the opposite way, right? And so right now, what I could see is it's turning, right? It's turning. It's a little choppy on this one. It's trying to go up on this, and it's continuing to go up on this, right? And so if I were to take this Renko bar and zoom it out further, I also look at, on another screen, I have this chart, which kind of precursor that, hey, you know what, this could be on its way down and there may be a cross, right? And so I'm usually like to be patient when it comes to making these calls. Sure, you know, there's a chance that it may come down, and then if I know that it's going to come down, I may add another position and cost average that. Put my stop up a little bit. Obviously, you know, you have to be mindful of your stops. You want to make sure, you know, wherever stops you have, your risk tolerance is taken into consideration, right? And so when I added that, right, like you saw that big drop, I knew that was going to happen, and it's just a matter of time before it continues to come down. Obviously, every time you add another position and it goes against you, your losses are going to double, right? Every time you add, it's going to double. So if your strategy is to scalp, you want to just kind of take your target really quickly and walk away with the profit before your losses, you know, exponentially increases, especially when you're trading the actual NQ futures. Same thing with the ES futures. You want to be mindful of how many contract positions you put in and what your risk tolerances are. All right, again, everything that you see here is on playback, and I'm just showing you a strategy that I deploy. And you know, I do have it automated, but at the same time, I have this being done manually on this particular video. I just wanted to kind of show you how things work. I mean, I can speed this up by increasing the speed on this and to see where it would go. But based on some of these conditions, I see it coming down and hitting my target, and it will. Let's just see. You know, a lot of the times it's just being patient, waiting the game out. I apologize if my screen is huge. I have a 41 inch, I believe it is, that I trade on. So you may have to zoom in, possibly expand your screen if some of these things are small on your screen. I do have this recorded in 4K. Hopefully when you zoom in and expand, you could see the minute details. Again, see how it's going against me? Now it's actually turning against me, right? So I saw this curve, and so I may end up taking a loss, but I do see there's potential, right? I mean, if you go back into my long-term horizon, this is a 60 Renko bar chart. I do look at 60, and occasionally I look at the 100, but 100 does slow things down a little bit. And so I try to focus on, because I'm a day trader, I try to focus on not too long of a wait, right? I don't want to wait an hour or two just to get out of a position, right? Or I don't want to be sitting on a position that goes against me for a very long time, right? And as you can see, you know, I'm willing to take almost $1,000 at risk for just maybe $100, $200, right? Which is the wrong strategy, right? Usually what you want to do is you want to make sure your stop losses are small, and your targets, your profits are large, right? At least 2-3x's, right? That's what you want to look for when it comes to your stop losses. You want to keep them tight. One thing I want to keep in mind is that, you know, when it comes to futures trading, you're going to get a lot of cuts. And what I mean when you're going to get a lot of cuts is there are lots of times you're going to get stopped out. That's the nature of the beast. And if you don't deploy your strategy correctly, you're going to continue to see those cuts, right? And like I said, right here and right here, if I had taken the profit over here, then it would have been great, right? You would have been done. And then you can move on to the next setup, right? And in this case, it's crossing above. And look what ended up happening on the longer chart. Instead of, still hasn't crossed yet, right? And I'm looking forward to it crossing. It's getting close. It's just a waiting game. Normally, you know, in this condition, I would probably add another position.
Order submitted. Order filled.
And I'd wait because I know this is going to come down. It's just a matter of time and just waiting it out, right? You just need to wait it out. Be patient. And if you feel like it's going to go against you, the market is coming in your favor, next time it comes down and, you know, takes a little bit of a profit, just take it. You know, don't, I would say, you know, take small profits versus large losses, right? If you can't bear the losses, you need to be able to come back the next day and trade, right? If you can't come back the next day because you blew out your account, what's the point of trading? Okay. So with that said, let me speed this up and see where things go. Hopefully it does come down and takes my profit. And if it doesn't, that's my loss, right? And then you go on and see, look, one of the patterns I do look at is you get this bat signal, which is actually going to go against me. And if I don't get out quick, this could go further up. Right? I talk about the bat signal, this tail looking figure that you see here. It's kind of a this part right here is the wings. This is the wings forming, and what ends up happening is if you stay long enough, it'll go up. That's the pattern that I've seen. And so here, I'm going to try to take a profit here. Hopefully it comes down and takes me out on my target. Let's move it up so that I can show you. If you had just one position, you would have been okay and taken it out. A lot of the times, see, if you don't have a fast computer, you shouldn't have this many windows open. That's another factor that you want to keep in mind, right? Sometimes some of these things, it just doesn't work out in your favor because you're using too much memory and CPU resources. Data is intense, right? If you don't have a good internet speed, all your charts are not going to get fed. And then here we go, the targeted, it reached, and that actually ended up happening because the market closed, right? And so I ended up taking profit, right? So now let's see what ends up happening next, right? So now let's look for the next, we'll look for one more position. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up. Let's try to get it towards the next day. I want to try to get it to 8 a.m. So I'm going to pause the video here for a short period. I'm going to let this ride for the next day. So right now we have May 13 at 6:37 p.m. So I'm going to pause the video right here. I'm going to get this to May 14th at, let's just say, 7:30 a.m. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so it is now 7 o'clock in the morning. I've pushed it up to the next day. And so I've got this on max. Let's see how and where we are, okay? I'm going to put this still on a little bit fast speed so that I can show you. I don't want to make this video too long. But there was an indication here. There was a short that should have gotten in. I'm actually going to take one. If it goes up a little bit, I'll take another short. let's see here. Yep, this is going to go up a little bit. And if it continues, let me try one here. Let's go. There we go. All right, so there's like $100. Probably I can take a little bit more. Boom, got it. All right, so I mean, there is still some room. I see this one right here. What I like to do is, you see this indication, this pretty much EMA. If it holds true, then it's going to go back up, and which it does. Okay, so I wait for that. I don't go in an entry over there. All right, I wait, and I wait, and I wait. And there's a possibility of a short coming over here. Oh, spoke too soon. All right, let me slow this down a little bit. And usually, you know, that kind of happens right around 8:30ish, right? So this was 8:30, yeah. It moves a little bit too fast. So you want to be mindful when 8:30 rolls around, 9:30 rolls around, 10 o'clock, and this is all Eastern time, okay? When those time frames, you have to be very mindful, right? You see how that big drop, right? If you're on the wrong side during those times, you could have a huge loss, right? So just be mindful of that. Okay, so let's see where we go from here. I think I like a short from here. It might come back down to my EMA. It's on the bottom side. Let's try it.
Order filled.
All right, there it is. Let's go. 105, 100. I do have my ATM strategy in place in case it goes against me. You do want that stop, and boom, took it, right? Another 150. All right, so let's see. I'll do one more and then wrap this video up. I hope this is informative. If you have any questions about my strategy, I'm not going to actually tell you what indicator I'm using and whatnot because I need to perfect this and I need to automate the strategy. And I'm doing this manually. It's currently being coded and tested so that all of this takes into consideration automatically and it just executes based on certain conditions. And then I think I like a short right here. My ATM will kind of trail the stop by a certain number. And if it goes against me, boom, it'll stop me out. But I'm not going to get myself stopped out right now because I do see a potential for it to come down. And there's that leg. And yep, there it is. All right, so there you have it, right? I mean, this is my strategy that I employ on the NQ. I hope this is very informative. Let me know. Leave me a comment on if you'd like this particular strategy and you want to purchase it. Remember, make sure you test everything. You know, make your own decision, do your own research about all of this. There could be bugs and it's being tested, so you have to make sure if you are going to purchase it, you thoroughly test it, back test it, and make sure if it's right for you. Now, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, PriceIsKing.com. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. It really helps me out here with the algorithm with YouTube, and it will make me make these videos for you. Okay, I've been going short, and last I was going to just take a long here, but I will hold off on it. But anyways, PriceIsKing.com. Talk to you soon, everyone.